Hello everyone. Figured it was time to do a bit of a long-term review on my Walter PPQ M2 9mm 5-inch. I've had the pistol for about a year and a half now. I've put about 5,000 rounds down it, and this is kind of my experience shooting IPSC with it. That's primarily what I'm doing right now with it. It's pretty much exclusively what I'm doing with it right now, and just going to give you some of my thoughts and opinions, having shot 13 matches with it now, and just kind of what I think of it. Basically, good thing is it's been 100% reliable. All my matches, all my practice sessions, I usually go out, I'll shoot 200 rounds. Haven't had any problems with it. Zero. So I mean, I think that's pretty good for 5,000 rounds, which I mean is not, I guess, a lot for 18 months worth of shooting for some of you guys, but for me, that's a decent amount. And again, to have no failure to fire, failures to eject, anything, it's been rock solid. So I can't complain about that. Trigger is still, what it is. It's still very good for a polymer. I guess the kind of math things still for me are the sights. They're, not the greatest. I haven't done anything with them yet. I'm not sure if I will. I have no problems finding the front sight. I mean, some of the indoor ranges, yeah, can be, maybe we could improve that with something. Maybe a fiber optic or something, but again, I haven't really bothered. And the second thing is, after shooting the P320 I have as well, this gun does have a little more recoil / muzzle flip. It's negligible, but it definitely does have a little bit more. I guess the next thing I need to talk about is the problems. Well, I think a lot of the problems that I've run into with this are due to my grip. And let me explain to you basically some of the issues I've had. I've had some issues with the gun basically locking open when I've been shooting it. Just like mid-session, it'll just lock open. I was like, first few times it happens, I was like, what's going on with this thing? Is it broken? But I've basically figured out it was the way my thumb was riding right here on the slide stop, and if you're just pushing up on it a little bit here, you'll lock it open, and it was becoming a bit of a problem I was finding with the way I was holding it. So I've done a bit of playing around, and first I was like, well, somebody told me, why don't you use this to your advantage? Put your thumb on top of it. I'm like, yeah, that feels really good. But of course, the only problem is, when you're holding it down here, well, it's not going to lock open when you're empty. And then other people say, well, you shouldn't run empty when you're shooting IPSC anyways. But I mean, let's face it, in the heat of the moment, I try to count how many rounds I fired off, but you lose track. And a few times now I've run into a situation where I've ran it dry. I've had my thumb here. Of course, it's not locked open. So I pull the trigger, click, nothing happens, and I'm like, now I've lost time. I drop the mag, reload. Now I have to, cycle the slide. And I've lost so much time now, it's, the stage is pretty much over. So I've got trying to get back to using, the grip the way it was meant to, holding my hand properly down here. In my last match, everything was working with me with holding the firearm like that. So that's kind of, I don't know. I guess it would be better if this wasn't so long, maybe, but it does make it very nice when you're operating it. Other problem is, one time I did accidentally drop the magazine. Now I did that with my left thumb, and again, it was during a match. accidentally was moving from one shooting position to another position, just touched it, just touched the release as I was about to start shooting, dropped the mag. Of course, had to load another mag. It was a long stage, there was some steel, wasn't having the greatest day. I actually think I ran out, and I had some no shoots at the end of the stage, so that kind of sucked. But that's only happened one time. That's not to me, it's not the biggest issue. I guess that ultimately the biggest issue is, as of right now, magazines in Canada are basically not available for this still. I've picked up 3 extra mags for it now. I have 6 total, again, shooting IPSC. Last time I checked, the magazines are $80 Canadian each, and you can't even get a hold of them. So they are pretty expensive. But other than that, you know, is an IPSC gun, does it work? Sure it does. Is it the most ideal? Probably not, due to the fact that, you know, you have the 5-pound trigger pull, give or take. That's every shot. Seems that everyone I'm shooting with now in production is shooting CZs. Seems to be the go-to gun, and I can see why. You know, you get the dual action, 5 pounds, and then after that, I guess a lot of guys are running about 3 pounds. Heavier gun, less recoil. I think you can shoot it faster ultimately. So it's probably something I'll look at down the road, but right now I've got a decent amount invested in this guy, so while I'm still, you know, learning a lot, I'm going to stick with it. And again, from a reliability standpoint, I have absolutely 0 complaints. So that's all I can say for right now. I'll touch base a little later. Take care.